Earlier, I spoke with the Prime Minister of the Netherlands on various aspects. AI, is it an enabler or a disruptor? What's happening in this changed world order and a changing world system? Listen in to a very important conversation with the Premier of the Netherlands. The AI Impact Summit being held in New Delhi has brought down many world leaders. They've come together over here to discuss the changed and changing world order in a day and age where artificial intelligence has become not just a game changer, but I'd say is part and parcel. To discuss this and more, I'm being joined by the Prime Minister of the Netherlands, Premier Dick Schoof. Thank you so much for joining me here on the network. Let's begin with the AI Summit. Your first take on how do you perceive India hosting the summit and India's future as an AI leader?
Yeah, I think it's very important that India supported right at this time the AI summit because we have seen the announcements of AI strategy by China and by the US last summer, very competitive, both of them. And I think it's important that other countries, and certainly also India, which is a big country with a lot of talent, specifically in high-tech, AI, etc., together with other countries, is discussing in what way we can develop AI, a responsible AI, that also is not only about profit or about control, but is really helping everybody.
Right. I saw you had a quiet conversation with the Premier, with the Indian Prime Minister. What was it about? What was the focus of the conversation? How are you looking at India being a player in this global game?
Well, we of course addressed a number of topics, but certainly also the relationship between Netherlands and India, and also Europe and India. Probably you know that Europe signed a trade agreement with India. And the Netherlands is now in the midst of a process of finalising our own agreement with India on different sectors, for example, semicon, but also water management, agriculture, defence. And we hope that Prime Minister Modi will be able to come to the Netherlands before summer to sign this agreement, because it will really give a new input and extra stimulus for the excellent relationships that we already have. And the Netherlands is, I think, the fourth investor in the world in India, which is, I think, is important as well.
Prime Minister, sir, in terms of the defence cooperation that you're saying that you'd look at and you'd like to see enhancement of, what are the areas, the sectors that you're really looking at developing more engagement and cooperation in?
Well, specifically the work of defence industry, and that they can work very closely together in different areas. Of course, naval is important for the Netherlands, has always been, but probably also other issues, and also in relation to AI and tech, which is more and more of importance in the world of defense.
Do you see the actualization and implementation of the EU FTA sooner than later?
Well,
India EU FTA?
Yeah, well, I think sooner than later, actually, because it's very important. Europe made a clear decision that we want to be less dependent from one country or one continent. So we have different trade agreements. The Commission finalized Mercosur with Latin America, now finalized the trade agreement with India, which is very important. And I think it's the trade agreement with India is less complicated than the one with Latin America. Because it's not about agriculture, beef, etc. It is always difficult in Europe. So I think it will be implemented very, very quickly. And everybody is also very putting pressure on it. I noticed that also in the regular meetings we have with European leaders.
I see you spoke of dependence. So the kind of conversations European leaders are having with countries like China, India, we've heard Chancellor Merz is going to enhance cooperation with China, so on and so forth. Is it because of the weaponization of tariffs that you're seeing? Is it because of the policies that are very hardened by the Trump administration, by President Trump? The reason why you're looking at not depending on one country, but diversifying?
Well, it's the whole geopolitical shift we see in the world. I mean, Europe still faces the threat of Russia. We still see the aggression war against Ukraine, which is of big importance for safety and security in Europe. We see China as a new actor in the game for already 1 or 2 decades. And we had a bipolar order, and now we have a multipolar order. In that order, you also need to rearrange your relationship with different countries and blocs around the world. And Europe wants to step up itself to reunite, specifically on economy, and also in relation to defense. But in defense, very close in NATO, because we don't want to lose our very important transatlantic relationships. But meanwhile, we try to find all kinds of solutions with different countries, including China, including the US, including India.
Right. How vulnerable is Europe at this juncture? We know that the changed world order again, you fought a very tough war standing with Ukraine, but today it does seem like the negotiations that are underway, and Europe has to realign itself in terms of the negotiations that are underway. So how vulnerable do you think Europe is today?
Well, one of the famous sayings that goes around in Europe is that we are not at war, but not at peace either. And that's because of the threat of Russia and the aggression war against Ukraine. We step up our defense. We gave, also the Netherlands specifically, massive support to Ukraine. We want a strong Ukraine army. At the same time, we want to put pressure on Russia as much as possible so that peace is being established in Ukraine. But at the same time, we have to build up our defense because the threat of Russia is not going away.
What are the hopes of the US-mediated talks between Russia and Ukraine?
Well, it's important that the US puts pressure on Russia. I think it's even more important than we do it as Europe. And there has been talks again this week, but they are talking a lot. I mean, they're all talking with Iran. They are today in Washington is also the Board of Peace around Gaza, Israel. So there's a lot going on in the world, and America has a stake in all of it. But I really sincerely hope that the pressure on Russia leads to justified peace for Ukraine. And meanwhile, Europe is playing its role, is involved, is putting pressure on all parties, except Ukraine. We are helping Ukraine, and we are also willing. We have this coalition of the willing, where the Netherlands is also part of, but most European countries are willing to step up also militarily after a peace in Ukraine.
Okay, and what's your opinion and position, sir, on the Board of Peace? You just spoke about it, the meetings are happening, being part of it, a two-state solution, looking at the misery and problems in Gaza and West Bank. How do you see it?
Well, for the Dutch government, the two-state solution has always been the cornerstone of our policy. The first phase of peace was really welcomed also by the Dutch government. I myself was in Sharm el-Sheikh also at that moment. We are on a political level not in Washington because the Board of Peace is now not only about Gaza but is much broader. So we have a lot of questions about the Board of Peace. But our ambassador is in Washington as an observer. So we have not made the decision about joining the Board of Peace.
Okay, and circling back to the AI summit before I let you go.
Yes.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today said that AI should be child-safe and family-guided. How important is it for the Netherlands to ensure that AI does not become a disruptor but an enabler, and that children are safe in a day and age where we're looking at files coming out left, right and center of how vulnerable our children can really be?
Yeah, well, there's only one answer possible. It's very important. And it's also part of what I'm saying is responsible AI. And it also goes to vulnerable people, like children. I mean, they believe everything they see. So we have to be very careful, and I know that's also in discussion in the Netherlands and also in Europe, but we should follow the example of a barrier before the age of 15 or 16, something like that. But it's a discussion that's not finalized in the Netherlands yet. But the issue of responsible AI and making sure that children don't get the wrong content or get fake information or false information is very, very important.
For your own domestic audience, we do know that government is shuffling a bit in the Netherlands. But Are you looking at a stronger AI policy? You just said you're considering it, but a stronger policy like many other countries where they're saying there should be an age bar for what child can access and cannot access.
Well, age bar is still under discussion, but we are certainly in the midst of creating our own national, international AI policy, because we very strongly believe that AI, as you mentioned earlier, a game changer. It's even more than that. So we have to meet a policy, and the part of that policy is partnership with other countries, and not only within the EU. It's important within the EU, but also with other countries, and certainly India, because we've got a great talent base over here, and I think we have some shared values that we want responsible AI, and that's also what we are in the Netherlands and also in Europe are looking for.
Finally, so before I let you go, there's a massive north-south divide that we're seeing now, and it's increasing furthermore. In a scenario such as this, what role, you're on Indian soil, so I ask you this, what role can India play in leading or paving the way forward for the global south?
I think India can bridge that gap. And it was also part of the AI summit today. I mean, everybody spoke about the global south, and I think that's also why it's important that a lot of European leaders were here today as well, because in that way we could also already begin to bridge the gap between north and south.